title of this lecture is Bonheur du jour, literally in English, happiness of the day. But I will explain more precisely the meaning of those words and why they are in French in the title, and the lecture is in English. And don't be afraid, my English is absolutely bad. I mean, my accent at least, but the language too. But the lecture has been corrected and re-corrected by two very good English speaker friends. But I apologize for the accent, which I can now change. Just one word before, because as Nilesh said at the beginning of his presentation, we are in a bad time. We are not in a time of happiness. We are not really happy. Today, especially for me, maybe today in France, because in those days it is the difficulty or the disagreement, the trouble is much more visible in France, but it is everywhere. It is as well visible in Brazil, as well as in America, as well as in India, as well as in Japan, as well as etc. And in Belgium too. Well, so it's a bad time, and why in such a bad time to talk about the happiness of the day, of the present day? I would say precisely because it is in the time of trouble that we have, of course, to think and to act according to the trouble. Of course. But we have at the same time to know that to know maybe the most important thing to keep in mind in those days, but not only those actual days, but all our time, that is that we are now learning that it is no longer the time of predicting the future and trying to build, construct, open, etc., a better future. Because precisely this is now the point of the kind of end of the future. It is now the time that we are learning that the future is by essence unknown and has to be unknown. It has to come to be there. And before coming, it is not here. It was a big theme or even a kind of leitmotiv in Derrida, l'avenir. What is to come is not for tomorrow. It's precisely the contrary of the tomorrow. You know, some people laugh about Derrida. All the philosophy of Derrida is for tomorrow. You know, like tomorrow it will be comment on dit, gratis.
For free.
And for free. Tomorrow for free. Whatever. Cigarette or philosophy. No. the main, again, the main leitmotiv, thinking motive of Derrida maybe was that what is coming. And necessarily, we don't know what it is. Nietzsche spoke about demand or expectation and encounter. What is an encounter if we already know the people and the situation we will encounter? It is no longer an encounter. It is whatever, it is a date, an appointment. But when I have an appointment, I don't make an encounter. Or if it is an encounter by an appointment, then the encounter has nothing to do with the appointment. In a way, this is exactly, I think, what Duchamp tried to say when he spoke about the rendezvous, the appointment, which was the way of, precisely not of making, but of encountering a ready-made. The ready-made, says Duchamp, is made by the rendezvous. I am in front of a wheel of bicycle, and I understand this is, we have a date, the wheel and me. Precisely, we have a date because it is an encounter, because something is happening, and I don't know what. And this is exactly why it is all the time, in a way or in another, it is about love. Because precisely, if the model or the idea of encounter is the idea of love, love is precisely encounter with the unknown. And the unknown, which or who, remains still unknown for the entire time of love. Well, so today we have a lot of things to discuss and to think about what is in trouble, what is difficult, what is etc., etc., and what is dark. But this as well precisely the time to think about what in every time maybe can be and maybe is, even if we don't notice it, is not only the absolute darkness, but has something from the day, that is the clarity, that is the light. Then, Bonheur du jour. One friend proposed as an English title, Escritoire of the Day, because we find that the word escritoire was used in Old English to name what Bonheur du jour named in French. I explain. Well, first part. In 18th century French, the Bonheur du jour, literally the happiness of the day, was a small escritoire or writing desk with many drawers and even secret drawers or compartments. It was a fine, elaborate piece of furniture, often delicately inlaid with marquetry and usually used by women to write, read, or hide love letters. Also, we are told, did men not have, or did they not need to hide their love affairs just as well? But let's not go astray. This is not our business today. The English and German languages, as well as many others, still use the French term escritoire or even Bonheur du jour to refer to this specific type of furniture, as if in every language something hidden were still present in it. And today, we too try to discover a secret inside the writing desk of the day, in the presence of the day, which is every day present. The day is the presence. Here I make a small parenthesis which is not in the lecture. I must make a confession. I speak about the Bonheur du jour because when I was young, in my family, it was such a furniture, Bonheur du jour. Very small. And I was all the time fascinated by the name, only by the name. And by the furniture, which was very, very pretty, nice. So, certainly I am making something of my auto-psychoanalysis. Thank you for helping me. Well, the present of the day. Presence or gift. A long time ago, a Byzantine grammarian did use the verb praesento in late Latin in the sense of offering or presenting someone with something. In other languages, the double entendre is equally present, or in other words, presence, which means being in front of somebody or something. The Latin verb praesum has a different meaning: to be or to go ahead, to lead the way, to command. But it is only the verb praesum, not the adjective presence. In short, three possible meanings emerge from the Latin: to be in front of, to offer, or to command. With the day, something or somebody, as we see somebody, that is, some presence comes and presents itself. What presents itself in the morning, every morning? I would say here is a whole metaphysics of night and day, keep in mind. What presents itself as a day is light, or more precisely sunlight. According to some hypotheses, day may be related to the Sanskrit root da, to burn. The Latin dies is related to yet another different semantic field, a bright light that shines, shining. And under the form divus, the word takes a divine dimension. Taking two different paths takes us back to the vicinity of two notions, light and fire, warmth and visibility, access and intensity. Par granted this, if you want, you can look in Thomas from Aquino, how he tried to explain the meaning of the word Deus precisely with the DS, with the day. Therefore, daytime is a time of some shining presence, of self-offering being as being there, in front of us, as if we became present to ourselves when we wake up. And are we not, in a way? Before and after the awakening, or the wake, if we take the word in its Irish Joycean meaning, there is no presence. And the wake is exactly the point with which literature did come for me in philosophy here, as you will see. There is absence, but absence is the lack of presence. It presents nothing and has nothing to present. And the present presents itself out of nothing or out of nowhere and in front of nothing, just as light comes out of the darkness and shines towards the edge of darkness. Presence is related to absence. This is at least what we have been asserting in the Western tradition since Aristotle and Augustine, which means since the time eternity was lost. Eternity does not mean sempiternity or an everlasting time, but it means time out of time. Maybe like time out of time. So it means time out of time or timeless, which boils down to sheer being as it is the case in Parmenides and still in Plato, for whom time is only the mobile image of sheer being. Sheer being is what neither belongs to presence nor to absence. It neither comes nor goes. It neither appears nor disappears. It is neither in front nor ahead of anything. When it comes not to sheer being, but to being, or rather to be, as such, when to be means coming to, presenting itself to something or someone, the mobility of Plato cannot stay still as an image of immobility. It has to come and leave. It comes to what? To nothing, to the nothingness of being. The whole of Western philosophy has been thinking about that, the to be understood as to be to nothing, and therefore as a need, a desire, a will, or a search for something to fill nothingness. Something like a supreme being. But, of course, a supreme being cannot be, cannot come. It does not exist, but dies. It dies a priori. It does not die after living a life of its own, but it dies in its proper essence. It is pure dying. Actually, everything pure is death, isn't it? The to be as to be two and from, to be from, to be two. to be two, and from nothing becomes in turn nothing. The now, the today, the instant, in style, being positive there, is nothing. It is only an empty relation between the past and the future, that is to say, two modes of absence. As you know, this is our entire tradition about time. Philosophy as a whole has been thinking about this for ages, resulting in the following words. I quote, "All the presents are determining as regards for the future the how-abouts of their past absences, which they might see on at hearing could they once smell of tastes from touch." Of course, this is a quotation of Finnegan's Wake. Needless to say, this sentence comes from Finnegan's Wake, not by chance, because it can be thought that this book is essentially about presence, about the enigma of presence as presenting, offering no thing. No thing. No thing, that is, maybe precisely, to be. And offering it to us by repeating in his second mouth language as many of the big timers' verbatim words which he could validly call to memory. Not far from the end of Finnegan's Wake, there is a visit to the Old Lord, presumably the big timer, who could easily be the deity itself, which is a quotation, about which it has been said in the first part of the book. I quote, "Upon the open Bible and before the great taskmasters, I lift my heart, and in the presence of the deity itself." That is toward the beginning. And now one has his hat and shall remember to take it off. I quote, "His door always open, for a never's day, much as your own is. You invoiced him last Easter, so he ought to give us hot cockles and everything. Remember to take off your white hat, yet, when we come in the presence." What is a never's day? The day, the day of a new era. I wrote never in one word, or if you prefer, new era. Yes. It is the day of a new era. The first day opening as a new era, or the new era itself presented as a day radiating some shining light. But new era, in one single word, also means that the entire era to come is contained in this very day, or that any day is an era in itself, or that it opens the door to a new era. 2. Let us come back to the first quotation mentioned above. The determination of the present is given with complex regards to the future and the past mixed together, and in the whole of their absences, making together something that can appeal to the five senses blended or combined together. That is the regards of the present is consideration, a mixture of respect for and interest in all future past absences, for everything and everybody capable of making a sign, telling or indicating, calling or appealing from its far away distance. Today opens itself as a consideration for absence, not as loss or damage, but as a possibility of presenting the signs, the echoes, the sounds, tastes, and fingerings, all the sensibility of what is not there or present as already given and positive, what Heidegger calls 400. You understand that everything is a kind of commentary about the to-be of Heidegger. So, not as already given and positive, but as what is coming as presented. The regards of the present make possible a presentation, a coming in front of us. And it makes our happiness of the day. Just as a lover's letter is delivered daily to his or her lover, each new day delivers a message from what has been and what will be, from memory and expectation, from otherness, and even from the unknown. And there is unknown as well in the past as in the future. The message is not a signification, not a meaning. It may contain some meanings, but as a message, as a letter, its entire value resides in its coming. And it comes because it is regarded, considered, desired, and loved. A love letter has its value as a sign of love, not as a piece of information. I love you. This is not an information. That is the reason why it is hidden, even if it is not dissimulated from the eyes of a husband, a wife, or a priest. The essence of love is hidden. One could even go as far as to say hidden from love itself. Therefore, it is a gift given from nowhere to nowhere. To some extent, from nobody to nobody, for love belongs to a realm beyond or behind anybody or anybody. The present day is the presentation of an appeal coming from within and without, from behind memory and going beyond future. Memory and the future are not simply absent, they offer the possibility of some presence between both of them. Some presence which does not stand in front of what is not given, but as a sheer gift, some pure giving, neither yesterday nor tomorrow, but the open space where presentation is made possible. I will add as a parenthesis, think only at how we are doing with the past. If I think to the past, as I think, I don't know, to my grandfather as well as to Caesar or Cleopatra, it is, again, that is not an information. I can have a lot of information about Caesar or Cleopatra, but if I do something with that, what is it? I write Julius Caesar. I am Shakespeare. What I'm doing, I am coming somebody, some present, some ideas, etc., etc., some message with the name of Caesar. A presentation means a coming, advancing, moving, proceeding, not a status, neither staying nor standing. At the Bonheur du Jour, and the Bonheur du Jour is made in its delicate marquetry out of a self-opening of the day to a new sense, to its proper and singular sense, which is nothing more, nothing less than the sense of opening itself. That is, opening up a self at large. For a self is nothing else than an opening to and in infinite and overreaching to be verb and not being. To be. To be somebody, someday, somewhere. Again, with Finnegan's Wake, I quote, as happy as the day is wet, babbling, bubbling, chattering to herself, delothering the fields on their elbows, leaning with a slithering slide of her giddy-gaddy, Granima, Gossipacius, Anna Livia. He lifts the life wand and the dumb spin. Quoi, 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 in French. Quoi is a French word for what, and may be used for interrogation or exclamation just as its English counterpart. Here we have an exclamation mark after a last Q, quack, 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 and there is no O, which makes it sound to a French reader or listener like the quack of ducks, quack, 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 that we say in French, or quack, which is precisely an onomatopoeia used to refer to some blunder, a quack. 3. Now the French for now is maintenant, a synonym for à présent, at present, which itself can be split into, maintenant, can be split into main, the hand, and tenant, that is a gerund form of the verb tenir, meaning to hold or to grasp, indicating the period of time during which that is word maintenant, indicates the period of time during which I can hold something in my hands. The rather brief one, as I also need my hands for many operations or gestures to come. In Finnegan's Wake, Joyce used that French word, maintenant, in a passage that appears at a marginal note entirely written in French. Mais maintenant te, that is maintenant in a female form which doesn't exist, mais maintenant te, elle est venuse. That is mais, but now she did come. But that all is bad French because the maintenant te as female and venuse as female doesn't exist. The word here is feminized, whereas an S is inserted into venue, come, or coming, la venue. The now becomes a quality of the she, who has now come, and this be coming is transformed into a new version of Venus. Because by, I think, elle est veneuse, then in French I cannot put to have the name of Venus as Venus. You say Latin goddess of love. Who may be this she? Actually, the sentence is a quotation from John's Gospel. I quote, "The hour did come where the Son of Man will be glorified." The feminized now is the now of the coming of a glorification of Venus. Maintenant, again, now, maintenant is the present when one may hold a divine glorification in one's hands. In the text of Joyce, next to the note, a feminized mass is referred to. La mass is led in by baths or washrooms. Glorification means making, or rather letting something, somebody shine. The lover is glorified by his love. A song by French singer Françoise Hardy reads in the most simple and naive way, I quote it in French, le premier bonheur du jour, le premier bonheur du jour, c'est un ruban de soleil qui s'enroule sur ta main et caresse mon épaule. That is the first happiness of the day, and I think that Françoise Hardy, or the one who wrote the song, but she wrote many songs herself. So that maybe he did not know the furniture meaning of bonheur du jour. So the first happiness of the day is a ribbon of sun, which come around my hand and caress my shoulder. Glory means light, sparkles and sunrise. Day takes place between sunrise and sunset, in the east just as in the west. Between the two of them, a whole geography the whole geopolitics, globalization and or mondialisation in French, literally becoming one world, expand. A world is a space and a time, an area and an era where it is possible to produce and make sense. I would add a globe or globus is not something like that, but a world, yes. Making sense does not mean producing meaning, a final global meaning, but making an appeal possible or a call which is worth being considered and regarded. This is very banal. We know that very well. We know that what makes sense is in an appeal, in a way of presenting oneself or somebody or something, and not in a meaning, in an achieved meaning. So this is very banal, but it is also what we are facing today, a global lack of making sense and a global making of calculation. And calculation means exactly the contrary of sense. The global lack of a world and a global production of, again, calculation, money, tools, speed, and energy. This lack, depletion, and this making are visible through the accelerated process of production and the accelerated process of enrichment and impoverishment, which I would say is at the same time enrichment and impoverishment of money, but as well of sense. But all this process is piercing through the everyday, through the day, and not allowing the presentation of the secret of the day. Nevertheless, the presentation takes place every day. There is not only the big process in progress with its own cheap infinity as only goal or end. There is a daily opening, a small and almost invisible happiness of the day, which is neither pleasure nor delight, but which is day itself. And this secret may be finally stronger than the mega process itself, which is already caught in its own jeopardy. It ignores the day, every day, and the day as such. Computers, traders, industries, planes and boats work night and day. They only know the time of production, investment, calculation, and big data. And in a way, this time is no time. It is the perpetual present, the sempiternity of the presence to presence to presence. And there is no day or secret either in this chronologic and time-consuming time. But people still live day and night. They wake up and sleep between openness and closeness. People, that is we, people need reason, which is altogether temporal and spatial or territorial, a territory being both a history and a geography, even through migrations, but also some kind of diary, written or not, always personal, confidential, secret, and surely to be hidden in some Bonheur du Jour. Today, in their own different ways, many people are acting and thinking in search for such a secret, neither to protect it nor to make it public, but to affirm that there is a secret and that it does and will resist. Again, I quote, we have frankly enjoyed more than anything the secret workings of nature's, parenthesis, thanks ever for it we humbly pray. And, well, was really so benighted of this light's time. This is a secret of nothing. Not a thing. But what? Somebody. Maybe this is it that we humbly pray for instead of any big timer. The coming of somebody. Nothing making new thing, as Joyce writes. And the new thing is not a thing, but somebody coming. Somebody presenting herself, himself, or itself to the mere opening of a day. Or maybe as this opening takes place, just as sunrise presents itself to make another sunset. To be becomes today. Today means to happen. To happen means something ordinary, extraordinary in the ordinary, just as what happens before the ending of Finnegan's Wake. I quote, the day. Remember, while there that moment and us two only. We all have already experienced this question that does not expect any answer. Senses without meaning. And overwhelming sensitivity. At this last moment of the novel, Joyce's language, as you heard, is perfectly ordinary. Remember, why there, that moment, and us two only. There is nothing to be interpreted, nothing hidden, but the thing itself, the presence of the thing, which is the day. Again, the day remembered. Withdrawn, the day withdrawn in its presentation, which is at the same time maintenant, memory, and expectation. The one who speaks à l'Anjuvia pulchrabel is about to utter the words that are to disclose her last day. I quote, "My leaves have drifted from me all, but one clings still. I'll bear it on me to remind me of." So, soft this morning, ours, yes.